Hello, everyone. Sorry I'm a couple minutes late. I just ate lunch. So if you think your day's busy, my day's busy too. So sorry about that. I figure I should make sure, stuff wasn't in my teeth and stuff. So you're welcome. All right. I'm Katrina. This is Sow and Tare, and this is live chat. We do this every Monday night, 6 p.m. Pacific time, except for the first Monday of the month we do on Thursday instead. And yeah, we are here. Um, I have an interesting topic today. We're going to wait a little bit until we get into, let people start coming in and all that. But yeah, let's get into it. If you're new here, if you're not, let us know where you are, what you're growing, what you want to grow, and where you fit in the whole homesteading shenanigans. So, all right, first up, Verna with Vay's Place. Verna is moderator, and she's in blue with a little wrench. And she has a channel about homesteading and apartment setting. And she has a live on Saturday mornings and Wednesday evenings. Check her out. Anime is, or welcome. Sorry, I forgot to welcome you. Anime is here. Hi, Desiree. She'll be back in a sec. Welcome. Steve's also is S.O. Swanson, and he's also a moderator, Little Blue Wrench, and he has lots of quail. So you didn't forget, but Berta must have reminded you. Well, I appreciate your presence. I appreciate your presence. All right. Yeah, so welcome. And let's see who else is coming. I know, Steve. I was late, but I had an excuse. I just ate lunch. All right. Howie's here with Food Forest Permaculture. Welcome. Hope you're doing well. I just took pears out of the refrigerator a couple days ago to juice, and some of them are a little too ripe. I missed a couple that were a little bad, I think. But I'm going to be juicing tonight. So, yeah. Yay for pear juice. I plan on canning it. All right. And Verna put her link there. Thank you. Hi, Howie. And Formal's here. Good evening. Formal, sorry. Welcome. Hope you're doing well. Yeah. Well, today it rained a lot. Not a lot. Not today. Let me start the sentence over because that was not even a thing. We've been getting consistent small rain showers. Pear juice is water bath, not pressure canning, Steve. Um, mm, I was gonna say all fruit, but I'm gonna say most fruit because I don't know. But pears are acidic enough for water bath canning. So there's water bath and pressure canning for two different reasons. If you have an acidic food or something that's going to be acidic, like pickles, so if it's a fruit or a pickling thing, you're adding enough vinegar to it, then that is a water bath. And if it is a basic food, meaning non-acidic, then that is pressure canning. And you do need a pressure canner to do pressure canning. Pressure canner, not pressure cooker. And for water bath, you can buy a water bath canner, or you can actually just use a pot with, make your own rack on the bottom and use a like a soup pot. I did that for years. So yeah, pickled eggs. There is no approved home canning way to pickle eggs. What you see in the stores is pickled commercially, and they have things that are not available to us in the home kitchen. Good catch. Thank you. Yeah, you can't do milk. There's a whole bunch of stuff you can't do. So I do have a playlist. Maybe Steve, since you found it, maybe you can find the link for the playlist. Intro to Canning. And that has a lot of good beginner information. I think it's pretty well organized. I didn't have a great camera at the time, but pretty well organized. But if you can find that link, that'd be great. But yeah, good point. Yeah, pear juice is a water bath, so that is fine. Anybody can do it. That's the good thing. Dawn's here. Hello. Yeah, so it's been raining here, consistent enough that the ground never dries, but little bits at a time. It was, what was it? I think it was a quarter inch this morning. That's what I looked at the rain gauge. Um, I think the most it has rained in the past, let's say, week or so is 0.29 of an inch, so not too much. Thank you, Steve. Steve put the link there for the intro to canning. So yeah. So I will can the pear juice. I'll make the pear juice today, and I don't know if I'm going to get to canning it today or not, but it'll go in the fridge if I don't. And then can it. So that is good. Yeah, it's been pretty cloudy and just kind of moist in the air. And I was going to do the first breeding of the season for the rabbits this weekend. Yes, that is late if you are breeding rabbits. Usually it would be a lot earlier. I've had stuff going on and I have enough rabbit in the freezer, and so I started them. I'm going to start them late. Now, if you're wondering about your area, if it's ready to, if you're ready to start breeding rabbits, you're going to want to look at the temperature. And then if you really want, just go smell your boy. he'll smell like he's ready. um, Percy is definitely giving off the smells. He's ready. So anyway, I instead of breeding them and instead of doing saffron, which I was going to share that with you guys. Hang on, let me get it. So I did not plant my saffron. This is what my saffron looks like right now. So I just picture it being straight. It'll straighten out in the ground. I was going to plant these this weekend, yesterday, and then I didn't do that. And I was planning to plant it between work and this today, and it just didn't happen because I was on the phone forever, and then I had to eat lunch. But that is on deck for probably tomorrow morning because they need to go in the ground. They needed to go in the ground a lot. That needed to happen a while ago. So anyway, so that is that's that. So back to the breeding rabbit. So I was going to do that. Always bring the female to the male, and I always have him clean his room first. I take out all the sticks and all the mats and all the water bowl and stuff like that. So that is that's a pretty good thing to do, just so they don't injure themselves or slip on a mat or splash in the water. Things get interesting. So, all right, see what people say. Picked ground cherries off the ground. Yeah, they taste like pineapple. They don't taste. There's different varieties. I will say that. The variety I had when I was in California, it was from Safeway. Don't buy them at the store unless you're buying them for seeds. I ate a couple and they were just nasty because it's something you don't pick. It's like how he says you pick them off the ground. When they drop or when they readily come off in your hand, that's when they're ripe. And they have this interesting sour, no, not sour, like a tart sweet. And it's very interesting. I don't think I've ever had anything that has both of those flavors so strongly together at the same time. But yeah, you can dehydrate them. You can make jellies and stuff like that out of them. Golden berry is the same thing. It's like the health food, right? When you call it golden berry, ground cherry, Cape gooseberry, they're all the same thing, but there's different varieties. So that sounds awesome. I have not established that here, but are they year round for you up there? Because in California, they were year round for me, but they were also sheltered, like they were kind of right up against the house. So I didn't know if they did that or not. But they also root at the joints. they don't root all along the stem like a tomato, but they root out the joints, and so it stayed rooted. So it was interesting. Yes, Percy has some pheromones working for him. Yep. So yeah, but instead, what I did is I went out and I went on Facebook that morning, and I the local community lives on Facebook, like that. Everything is on Facebook, events and hey, something is for sale or something for free or whatever. And so I saw one that was a guy giving spider plants away, and so I was like, hey, I'll take them. And so went and did that, and before I left, like then I saw something come up with a Jeep, and I have been thinking about getting a Jeep. I want to say I've been looking. I haven't actively been looking, but you guys have heard it before from me. um, a vehicle to get up to the top of the hill, and then also to use in the hayfield for haying equipment. Pull behind and stuff like that. So anyway, so I went and got spider plants, and I think met new friends. We spent there quite a bit looking at garden stuff and stuff. And then I went right over to the where the Jeep was. I brought it back here, drove some of the roads here. Not the big giant, but it was good. Had to. It's a manual, so I have not driven manual in many years, but I did pretty okay. I think I only killed it a couple times. And then it has 4 high and 4 low. Two-wheel drive, 4 high and 4 low. And so that is exactly what I wanted. So 1995, I think. Yeah, 95. And so it is older, but the guy took care of it really well. So my hope is that I will have it for many, many years because it's already, it's really well taken care of and been pretty old. And I did have a friend look at it that knows more about mechanics than I do. So yeah. So yeah, that's something I can check off my list. Now I need to, get some hay stuff to pull behind it. But yeah, and it has a winch on the front, which is nice. Um, all right. Desiree says, it's so hard finding a rabbit breeder for the breed I need. What breed do you need? And why do you need a specific breed? If you're doing meat rabbits and you're breeding them, you don't have to have the same breed. Um, I mean, my original ones, one was a Black New Zealand and one is a Californian. And those are two of the most popular meat breeds. And crossing them is just fine. So there's something called hybrid vigor, where when you cross two right? When you cross two varieties, their young tend to grow fast and tend to do very well. Um, with that, um, they just that it's just something to keep in mind that you don't have to have the same. The one thing to keep in mind though, if you do have different and they are slightly different sizes, have the female be the bigger size because you don't want huge babies to try and come out of a small female. So if you do have a size difference, make sure the female is the bigger one. If it's a large size difference, if it's somewhat smaller size difference, doesn't matter. All right, Howie's doing grape juice tomorrow. Awesome. What kind of grapes? What kind of grapes? My old neighbor had Concord grapes, but not the improved variety, the ones with seeds, and that was so much better than the ones that were seedless. So much better. Yeah, and good luck because that's fun. Dawn says I am supposed to breed the end of the month if they are ready. I tried, but he only fell off once. The rest he was on her head side. Yeah. You figured the end of this month, but someone told me to try. If he already had one fall off, she may be bred. So sometimes they get confused and have a little backwardsness. It happens to the best of them. um, yeah. So I have had it successful where there was one fall off and she was bred. What you want to do, I don't know if you did this already, but basically if if you do it in the morning, check them in the evening or maybe the next morning. But within 12 hours ish, they know if they're pregnant. And if they lifted before, they will absolutely reject him. Sometimes it's a very clear rejection and you feel really bad for him because you should like no or never list for him. And sometimes it's much more subtle no, where she just doesn't lift for him and he can do whatever, but she's not going to lift. And by lifting, that means like the back end, right? I do have some videos about that. I think trying to think of a keyword because I don't put what it is because YouTube doesn't like those words. I think romance might be in it. Romance. Yeah, I have rabbit romance and rabbit romance carrier or carriages. So if you want kind of instruction like that and then how to see like what's going on, this is rabbit romance. You got to be creative with your words with YouTube. And then I also use a cat carrier as something to carry them from carry the female from her hutch to Mr. Percy's hutch. And the reason for that is I'm fine with scruffing them, and I scruff them and then bring their body. So this is the front end, this is the butt end. So scruff them and bring them this way and flip them on their sides so their feet are on my belly. That way, if they kick, they're not going to do anything, and they feel the most secure that way. But what I've been doing since I've been here, I don't have anybody to open hutches and close hutches and stuff like that. Like, it doesn't really matter when you're going to Percy, but going from him, you got to bring her and then figure out how to close the hutch and all that. And so I just have them go in a carrier and then carry them over and open it in. And my hutches are made so that it's 2 feet opening, and you can literally just set the carrier in there and be good. Penne, we'll see what happens this year. But last year, Penne just went in the carrier and she's like, "Oh, my carriage is here." Okay. So that's something to think about too. But what you want to do is put her in with him like 12 hours or more, like between 12 and 24 hours after they bred, and check them because they will know if they're pregnant, and if they're pregnant, they will have no interest in him at all. Well, maybe not at all, but no interest in doing the deed with him at all. So yeah, pheromones stink. There you go, Steve. Yeah, Verna says one fall off may be enough. Check her again tomorrow. Yeah, if you did that yesterday, I would do it tonight. If you did it today, do it tomorrow. Yeah. Yeah, Desiree, I saw your post there. She made her boyfriend butcher a quail. And I think he did good, so that's good. Yeah. Yeah, Dawn, is your buck young? Because sometimes the young bucks, they don't know what they're doing yet, and they don't know like how to find things. Again, talking about this on YouTube. And it might take him a while to figure it out. Percy had to figure out how to romance the ladies. They need their little face cleaning and their little ear nuzzles, and yeah. So anyway, so that's the story there. All right. Yeah, and Steve says it could be that she didn't lift properly. So when she lifts, what you'll see is her back end go up when he's there. She may be up on her toes, or she may just lift up a little, but her tail will be out of the way when that happens. And when that happens, it means that she's receptive. She's like, okay, let's do this. When she's not lifting, it's just not going to happen. As much as he tries, it's just not going to happen. She's not ready. She's like, okay, no, don't want to. So yeah. Dawn says, Verna, it would be nice if it took, but I will try the end of the month too. If it took the first time, I have it logged. Steve says, I'm just sticking up for the book. Yeah, so that you can try that, and I would say that the only thing, and I've not had this happen because I haven't read them like that before. The only thing that might happen is if she was pregnant, she can get pregnant again. And when she gives birth, she may give birth to everybody, meaning highly preemies. But I've not experienced that with my rabbits because I haven't had that breeding, but I have heard stories of that. So just be prepared for that if that's what you're going to do. Yeah. Desiree says, he did a really good job. Had the insides to help him. Yep. With the stuck skin. Yeah, on quail, you typically get that stuck skin, right? Like behind the waist and down by the butt. That area sticks. Yeah. Dawn says, Steve, I'm cracking up. What is the excuse for her head? Her side. LOL. I sat in a lawn chair cracking up. It's hilarious, Dawn. And I don't think he cares if you're laughing at him. It is hilarious. It is hilarious when they cannot figure out what end they need to be on. But he's probably a young boy, inexperienced. He may not be, but they're a little they're a little male. Let's just say that. Yeah, so Steve's giving a tip for skinning quail. Stuck skin normally at the bottom of the back. Twist that sideways as opposed to down. That's good. Yeah, keep things family friendly. Oh my gosh. Okay. You got stuck with the neck and the neck and the wings. Okay. Okay. And a leg. Interesting. Well, every everything is its own. Every experience he has he's going to get better at it. Yeah. No, Steve, I'm talking about a Jeep. But a Jeep or side by side is what I was talking about, like before. But now it's a Jeep. It is a Jeep that could do mudding or rock crawling and stuff like that. I do not plan on doing either of those, but yeah. Yep. I don't know silver martin. Martin to me is either a weasel-like critter or a bird. I did not know it was a rabbit. It's a recovering breed. Super hard to find. Okay. Okay. So do you already have one and you need another one, or is it that's the breed you want? Yeah. Dawn says, doesn't she get a muddy wet season? I saw some of the roads in her videos could mud in. So mudding is a different thing than just driving in mud. It is driving in mud on purpose. And while a lot of my friends did that in high school, I never went. And but yeah, that's how you get like trucks that are brown that aren't really brown, but you don't know what color they are. Yeah, that's what Steve's talking about. Unknown. What did I ask you, Howie? I don't remember. Dawn says, what does a doe jumping and running around his cage like she's trying to play mean? Yeah, so does can react differently. And I would say the first breeding of the season is less predictable than the rest because either they've forgotten what they're doing or he's really, really ready. So any of those things can happen. I mean, they have to get used to each other, especially if they've never been together. They have to have some romance, right? Sometimes they want to be chased. Sometimes, I don't know why, but sometimes they just go around and around and around, and then finally they like pick a corner, and there you go, and all that. So sometimes it can take quite a bit of time to get three fall offs. Sometimes it's super quick. So it just depends on, I don't know what. Yeah. Yep. As long as she's not, I would say, and other people with rabbits on here, please confirm this with me. Verbalization is typically, and not the scream kind, the like grunting kind, is typically a displeasure. I don't think I've ever heard it as a like come get me. Um and when a female is making that sound, she's like, no, I don't want anything to do with you. And you guys can confirm that or not. I have had them scream when they're together, and it's usually the boy. So must be good. Plain hard to get, Verna says. Yep. Desiree's cuddling a sweet chick. Yeah, normal behavior at first. Exactly, Steve. Um, so after they're done mating, they can mate several times. And if they're both into it, more than 3 fall offs is fine. And they will, if they're into it, they're into it. Um, yeah. Oh, she's not 6 months old yet. Yeah, I would have waited. Yeah. Okay. She didn't lift. Okay. Yeah, and it's pretty obvious when I have another video, I think it's called What is a Fall Off or something like that. And um a fall off is quite dramatic. So a fall off is breeding. A fall off is usually a successful breeding. And you want 3 for rabbits. It can work with 1, but if you're breeding rabbits, you want 3 at least. And the reason for that is the active breeding makes them, makes them drop their egg. So when they ovulate, I was trying to find the word. Um, that happens as a result of, oh, now's the time. There's this happening now. And so the first time, nothing, maybe something is there to fertilize, maybe something's not. And they're going to be dropping more than 1 egg because we have more than 1 baby, right? And so it's going to be more likely that you have, a good litter if you have at least three fall offs. And it is very obvious because the boys fall off and they go like they make a sound like, and sometimes they scream, and they literally fall off, like they don't slump, they fall off. So that's what you're looking for. um and as long as his stuff isn't all over, it's successful. Okay. YouTube guys. All right. Yeah, it takes a couple times before he figures it out. Exactly, Verna. If it was his first time, if that was his first time, he might not even actually. You say he just got weaned. Um, is he developed? So you should be able to visually see stuff on the underside. And if you're not able to visually see stuff, if you don't know what I'm talking about, you can ask somebody. Ask your mommy. No, I know you know. Um, you should be able to tell that he's ready to breed. Is that how I'm going to say it? That's how I'm going to say it. If he is too young, he may not be developed enough, and his testes may not be developed enough. So that's something to consider. Okay. Oh yeah, anime, big hands and processing quail. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, give them more time. Um, after she's 6 months old. Yeah, and I would go later, but yeah. Okay, Steve says quail, it can be difficult to pull the wing out of the sleeve if you do not cut it. That makes sense. See, I've always cut them. I have always cut them, and it's so much easier. Got it. And getting the legs out of the quail pants if you don't grasp them correctly. That's true. That's true. Oh, Dawn's neighbors mud in their yard. They must have nothing growing in their yard. Yeah, and Verna had some like that too. And Verna, you had the smaller breed, and I think doesn't Dawn have a smaller breed? So that should be good. Yeah, so Dawn knows motors, mudding and motorcycles, all that. Yeah. I don't need to do that particularly. Okay, Steve is saying silver martin are smaller rabbits at 9 pounds full maturity. Can be for meat, mainly for pets. Mine are about 10 pounds. They were all right around 10 pounds when they went to have their vet visit before we crossed the border. Yeah. Actually, the chickens were around 10 pounds too. I think everybody was around the same weight. Maybe their scale was broken. Oh, what kind of grapes? Okay, that's what it is. Okay. How he found them growing wild. Awesome. Awesome. Were they growing wild like you have a wild species there, or is it like something that someone threw out a seed? I don't think we have native grapes here, do we? We might. We did in California. I don't know. I haven't seen any on my property at least. Okay. Oh, different color genetics. Got it. Okay. Yeah, it could take the males a little bit to get used to. Thank you for the link, Steve. What does a fall off? Yeah, Don says there's one YouTuber who does 5 fall offs and his videos show 5 in a row. I just got one this time. The buck was just 5 months old. The doe was about 6, 7 months. The doe 5 months. I will say that when Percy was like last year when he started breeding, was last year? Yeah, last year when he started breeding, he was a machine. I could breed 2 in a day and get 5 to 7 fall offs for each of them. But there you go. Desiree says they fall off like quail. Quail don't. They hit the ground like they just. Yeah, yeah. Whereas the quail just kind of timber. Yeah, it's an event for a rabbit. Yeah, so Verna got with 1 fall off, got 9, and 2 fall off, that was 11. Yeah, yeah. I know you know what I'm meaning, Dawn. Oh. Uh, it's an old logging yard. Okay. Aaron's here. Good evening, everyone, he says. Good evening, Aaron. Good evening, good evening. We're on to rabbits. I have another topic that I want to get to, but we're gonna see where this rabbit thing goes. All right. Yeah, Verna had Havanas and Dawn's about the same. Okay. Dawn says they also do 4-wheelers in the mud. Yep. Yep. Fox grapes. I've never heard of fox grapes, Verna. Interesting. Interesting. Okay. Aaron brought up weather, so I'm gonna start my topic here because the weather is a topic that I have. He's asking Verna how her weather is. All right, so weather is something that we all deal with. It's something that we all have our different levels of preparedness for. Where Aaron is, you have hurricanes and the occasional 100-year snow. My area, we have rain, lots of rain last year. Winds sometimes in the Midwest, there's tornadoes and all of that, and then the hurricanes on the east coast stuff, all of that. So, and then there's other things happening in other parts of the world. And we have so many things happening in the world, and all of these events seem to be getting bigger. So uh, there is less funding going into weather um, forecasting, and it's been going less and less. And I want you guys to let us know what you follow, if there's YouTubers you follow, or if there's other sources that you follow, um because funding for NOAA and stuff like the Weather Channel and stuff like that, yeah, that is getting decreased. And so I want us to all, and everybody relies on those things, but there are there's weather stuff happening for other countries that we can rely on as well. And I just want you guys to put in the comments what you guys follow. And um for I know Ryan Hall y'all is a big one. For me, I'm just finding it. Pacific Northwest Weather Watch. And I'll find his channel. And so he's a good one for me is Pacific Northwest Weather Watch. And I'm going to put, where'd you guys go? I'm going to put that in here, Pacific Northwest Weather Watch. And he also does the same thing for California, and it's California Weather Watch. And since I already have that going, I want to have it on there. But if you guys can let us know who you follow for your and what region it's for, that will be can can look at this, and I'm going to read them off um, as we go through this. Um, Weather Watch, and California is getting a big storm this week. So if you're in California, that's a big storm. So yeah, I wanted you to encourage you guys to look at some of these people that already know a lot about weather, and then also have a resource that might be more reliable. What I've found is that since I've been following um, the Pacific Northwest Weather Watch, his descriptions are much more well-rounded and have like, it's not just sunny and 72 degrees. It's, "Here's what the potential are. Here's a couple models that I've been following. I think it's gonna do this, but it could do this." Because weather predictions are based on, a lot of different things. They're based on radar, they're based on weather balloons, they're based on satellite, they're based on a lot of different things, and I'm not a meteorologist, but I do want to make sure that everybody is um, is prepared to have a secondary source for weather reporting, because there is funding being lost. So anyway, so that's the topic. So what I follow is Pacific Northwest Weather Watch. That's who I follow. There's a couple other people in our region. If you follow them, go ahead and put their names in there, and one of us, me or Verna or Steve maybe, um, we'll try and find the channels or links to put in, because you can't put in the links, just put in the name. Um, and I should have prepped Verna and see for this, but sorry. Anyway, so that is something that I do want you guys to be aware of, and then also for you guys to have good resources, because weather is important. And if like a big storm is coming, you need to do certain preps. Always pay attention to what your animals are telling you, and what the birds specifically. So like birds can tell you if you start seeing a lot. Now it is migratory season, so it's migration season. So you are going to see, Mississippi Flyway, Pacific Flyway. Those are the two big ones in North America. I think there's one in the eastern, but I don't know what it is. But there's different flyways where the birds are just flying everywhere. But sometimes you'll get like a gull Not where you have gulls. Okay, well, if a gull is coming in off the ocean that far in, I've never seen one here. Um, be prepared for a storm because they're like, I'm finding land and I'm getting safe. Um, you know, different species like that you wouldn't necessarily see in an area come inland. Um, and that happened a lot in California when there was big storms, is that you would see a lot more gulls a lot further inland than you would think they might be. And that was the predecessor to the larger storm. So anyway, I'm gonna continue with the going through the comments, and when we get to that section, behind, we'll talk, you know, maybe a little bit more of that. So anyway, here we go. All right, Vernon was in the upper 70s. Oh my gosh, not here. Um, Buzz says is laughing. Some of my big roosters fall off on their sides. And they just, oh, they do? I think they fall off on the side. They usually do. I better drink this milk before it. Desiree says, um, my quail fall off. Very dramatic. Yeah, just wait until you see rabbits. Aaron says, I like rabbits, same as chicken. You don't like them, huh? They're fun. They're fun. Yeah, Midwest has wild grapes. Yeah, Verna has wild grapes. You mean not at all. Exactly. I like rabbits. Don says 80 during the day, it's 40s at night right now. They say winter starts this weekend for actual cold coming. We had a 32-degree night or morning, at least when I got up last week sometime. And then it's been in the 40s because this has been raining at night. And then it doesn't really warm up much. It's in the 50s. It may have hit 60 today. I don't know. I think it was 50s. All right. Okay, so Steve says Ryan Hall, y'all, and he says though he's mainly as it's happening for major items. Okay, yeah. So the guy who does Pacific Northwest Weather Watch, he does go live as well for big events. Um, yeah, Ryan and some other dude. Okay. Thank you for the reminder to become a member. We are, as Verna, we are doing a Cook With Me live this Saturday at noon 30. So if you want to do that, sign up and it'll be fun. Okay, let me find the link for Ryan Hall, y'all. Oh, let me go back. Ryan Hall, y'all. Weather. Okay. So this is his. And he does he does everything, right? Or did he just does like active weather wherever it is? Is that right? I've watched him, but not very much. I like the more local thing. Oh, 2 links instead of one. That's okay. That's okay. Oh, okay. Steve says I follow Steve on the front porch. Good enough. Good enough. Aaron says I follow my senses, walk outside, and the bright and the and the bright sun is out. It will be hot. Wet stuff is falling. It's raining. If it's cold, I grab a coat. If the stores are selling out, it's a hurricane. Oh, like the last one. Oh, Desiree has a cuddly chick. Don says my place states a lot of the weather predictions are clickbait. Yeah. Yep. Um, Steve says if I check the weather, I check out Texas, as I know it's headed towards me or Aaron. Interesting. So you're saying that your weather is not as reliable as looking at what might be coming towards you? Interesting. Okay. Verna says max velocity. I don't know that one. Max velocity. I don't have my other thing open. Weather. Let's see. Okay. I've not heard of that one. This is why I'm doing this, because everybody needs to know. And does max velocity have a region that they stick to? Is it pretty much whatever's active? Okay, Aaron says Houston, Texas weather is usually 18 hours from me. A little bit of prep time, huh? Dawn says they said rain today. Radar showed rain. I go out and got the most rain since July today. 2 drops on my arm in 15 minutes. Yeah, so that's the other thing, right? Like how reliable it is. But you know what? I mean, since I've been watching Pacific Northwest Weather Watch, I've really learned why things aren't reliable, and that is because they only tell us one of the potentials. And he'll show us, okay, all the models are in agreement. This is pretty much what's going to happen. Or, hey, guys, these models are different. We might have some things going on. Yeah, yeah. Steve says, wow, Dawn, your drought is over. Oh my gosh. You thought your hair was going to get wet, and it did from sweat in the gardens. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Me? Did I tweak my mic? No. Am I quieter or louder? Sounds better. Must have needed the milk. No, I don't know. I don't know. Does the body good. Oh, how funny. Um, Verna says, many times around here there will be storms, but they bypass me, hitting south and north of me. Yeah. Rabbits aren't as mean as quail. This is from Dawn. My one roo always pulls off a feather. I have never had all bald ladies before. Yeah, bucks will grab tufts of fur and yank them out. Yeah, yeah, they will do that. Okay. Okay, Ryan Hall does the whole country or everything. Yeah. Steve says we need to remind Katrina when she says link, that's code for hey Verna. Okay. As in stop doing it myself. Sorry. Yeah. Okay, so max velocity does whatever he thinks is active. Okay. Good. And Anime's liking her guinea dad pads. That's good. That's good. Dawn says the weather is predicted for me and does show on radar, but I think the clouds or rain dries up over the town due to the lake. I'm very close to the lake. Okay. Yes, Dawn. She says, "Oh, I saw that buck grabbing fur. I thought he better not make her bald too. They were tiny." Yeah. It's amazing how much fluff can come off of a rabbit without even seeing it, and you see that especially when they pull their fur for their young. Um, and they just have so much extra fur. I mean, so if you guys saw the video from today for the week in review, Penne has actually been letting me help her shed. She's shedding later than everybody else, but because she has that half a back foot that doesn't have the nails, the claws, and she can't like just go like this. I mean, instead of going like this, she's going like this if she can reach. I don't know if she can reach, but so she has these big chunks, and in the past she has not let me do that. Does not let me just pull them. I mean, it's not like yanking; it's just detaching it from the fur. It doesn't hurt her at all. It just probably feels funny. Once she figured out what I was doing, now she was like, "Okay, can you get it, please? Can you get it?" And I had a chunk of fur like that you squish down, but it's pretty big amount of fur that you wouldn't even think would come out her face. Or you think she'd have big bald face, but she didn't. So yeah. Yeah. Oh, the guinea pig pads soaks up the bird poop. Okay. All right. Um Berta says bucks will not make your does bald, Dawn, like roos do. Hopefully not. Hopefully not. Um Also, I mean, they don't get bred as much as as the quail, right? Yeah. Dawn says, Verna, all I know is the quail at this point. I did try brushing the big doe. She got ticked and boxed me. Oh, and swatted your hands. Yeah, that means you got to be patient with her and spend time with her. Yeah, yeah. All right, Aaron. Thanks for stopping in. He says breaks time's over. Got to finish packing egg orders for the night. Well, thanks for stopping in and enjoy your evening. Yeah. Dawn says, Verna, it took me a good month to learn her moods. She got me so many times until I learned I was ready to dispatch her. Okay. Okay. So something else that's helpful I find when dealing with the rabbits is long sleeves, but I also have those farmer's defense sleeves, which is just a sleeve. It just comes up to here, has a little thumb hole, and then it's like that, you know. So you still have your fingers, and um, you don't get scratched with them. So I highly recommend that for sure. I think they're made out of recycled bottles that are like found in the ocean or something, and they're really really handy. Um, it repels the sun, and then also you don't really get scratched. Blackberries will still go through it, but I've been scratched by a rabbit. And sometimes, like they scratch when you're processing. Like I hold them like this, with the feet are underneath this hand, and they'll just kick a little bit. And when I'm just holding them, they're calming down. And it sometimes will rip a glove, and but it doesn't go through the farmer's defense sleeves. Um, O'Donnell says, I had Kevlar sleeves and Kevlar gloves. Wow. That's prepared. Um, Verna says, Dawn, you can always do like Katrina does, bring your dough inside, have her on your lap as you watch a movie. So we did that. You remember that was a long time ago. That was when we were still trying to socialize risotto and penne. Is that right? I think that's right. And it worked okay, and then it kind of didn't work, and then they've really done a lot better here. I think they have more to look at and more things to look at. Yeah. Dawn says I have rabbits all inside during weekends. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I would try and socialize with them because I did not plan on keeping them. They were 7 weeks old, I think, when Tortellini died, their mom. And so I was like, well, you had a litter of two, and they're both females. I guess you're breeders, and that's how they got chosen. So they weren't chosen for any other reason except for their mom died, and I needed replacements. And so I wasn't planning on keeping them, so they were not treated poorly, but treated like the grow outs. Um, not cuddled and pet every day. Yeah. Did we get all of the weather people? I thought there would be more. I thought you guys were going to be like throwing out things that I didn't know about. I think there's just one I didn't know about. Um, yeah. Dawn says they sort of tell me they watch the house windows for me to open the curtains in the morning, then watch for me 10:30. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, pet them. I'm a big supporter of petting your breeders, getting them used to you as a positive thing. And I mean, I could say why good anyway. Sorry, guys. Um, good anyway, but when you have like I think a fox jiggled the latch on one of them, and Risotto and 4 of her babies were running around. Well, she was so excited she wanted to show me. So when I called her, she came right over, all happy. Like, I'm sorry. Here you go. But it makes it easier to manage when you if they get out somehow. My advice is to not let them get out. But then also to handle back and forth, going to the buck, and then just in general, if there's an issue, they'll be like, okay, I'll sit here. Yeah. Dawn says I don't cuddle them. They sit on the couch in a crate that they run from me back into, and then back on my lap. Well, on your lap is cuddling them. That's the same. Yeah, Verna had a pissy dough. Dawn says I gave them peppermint yesterday. Small amount first time. 2 cages didn't touch it, but big rabbit jumped on it. Scared me to death because she moved the whole cage, chowed on it. So mint is something that uh, halts or decreases lactation. So I would not give it to adults. I used to feed it to. I had these rabbits that I had that were practice rabbits. You don't need practice rabbits. Um, and they loved mint. They loved it. But it is one of those plants that is known to reduce lactation. So I recommend just not giving it to them. But if you do give it to them, maybe when they don't have babies. I don't know if it affects other things or not. Um, yeah, good to know these things. Dandelion is a great one for them, so that's a good thing. Yeah. Um, so it's not like they can't have it, just know that it could have effects. So, yeah. Yeah. Well, I think the long-term projection, like the the Farmer's Almanac and stuff, predict a colder winter in my region. Um, I mean, we'll see what happens. It's interesting how people can uh, predict these things so far in advance, but yeah, just be prepared for that. So Verna says peppermint decreases lactation, whereas oatmeal will increase milk. Yep. Um, black sunflower seeds too, or is that just for the coat? Dawn says I'm in a drought so bad there are no more dandelions, just crabgrasses, a few weeds. Oh wow. Yeah, and Steve says you had 2 drops. That should hold you over. Yeah. No, it's rained here like just enough that the ground stayed wet basically since the first kind of little rain, and it doesn't dry because it doesn't get hot. Oh, I'm so sorry, guys. I'm yawning. It's been a long day. It's been a very long day. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, there's your rabbits and your weather. How's the flooding there? Where is the flooding? The flooding where? We don't have flooding here. I don't know if you're talking to me or not. Dandelions are typically over by May and June, depending on where you are. I have some dandelions. There's one on the side of the house here, and the one out front I think is done, but the one on the side of the house here started up again a couple months ago. Yeah. Howie's going. Good night. I must be yawning too much. Good night, Howie. Oh, okay. Dawn is in a dust bowl, huh? Dust is so bad? Wow. Okay. Yeah, so Verna is remembering all the water problems causing flooding stuff. Yeah, so there's plans. We'll see what happens because things keep getting pushed back. But there's plans to have the French drain put in possibly this week. There's going to be some rock delivery, and so the contractor is the timing has to jive with when that's available. So I don't know when this weekend, but hopefully this week. Yeah. Don says I do have stuff like clover with yellow flowers, sheep sire. The quail love that. I don't give it to the rabbits. Clover you can totally give to rabbits. I don't know what sheep sire is, so I don't know about that. But the clover you can totally give to them. They will love that for sure. Does it really, Steve? In Dawn's area, the dust gets so bad that it shuts down the interstate north of her? My goodness. I know in Washington there was what is a dust storm called? I don't remember what it's called, but it has a name. And I didn't even know this was a thing until it happened. And I just remember like you remember the movie Hidalgo where the horse race and stuff and that sandstorm comes? It was like that. I wasn't there. It was in the news. But it was like that. You could see the videos of it. It's like I thought that was just in the movies. That was many years ago. Yeah. Vernon says clover, like with the yellow flowers, are wood sorrel. Sorrel. Oh, it's not clover? Because just look it up. Yeah, you can look up and see it. See if rabbits can have it. If it's like a regular clover, then it's fine. If it's a sorrel, that can be high in. Well, it can be high in. It can be high in. I don't remember what can be high in, but it can be high in something that is not good in large amounts for anybody. Um, what is it called? Somebody let me know what's called. Sheepshire is the clover? I'm gonna look that up. Sheepshire plant. Likely a misspelling of sheep sorrel. Oh, it's a rumex. Yeah, I would definitely look that up. I'm not familiar with that one. Sheep sorrel. Oh, it looks like it's a tiny rumex. I know a lot of the rumexes here are edible and they are salty. And I don't know about the one that you're talking about, but excess salt could be an issue. I don't know. I don't know. Steve's clover has white or purple flowers. Yeah, I think white or purple or red is what I'm familiar with, but there's also just different clover relatives. And yeah. Wood sorrel is a plant is high in oxalic acid. That is what it is. Is it poisonous to rabbits or is it just in high dosages? Because oxalic acid is something that you can have, but as a person, but not you don't want a lot of it. You can overdo it. So yeah, okay, maybe don't do it that. Yeah. So Dawn gives them treats 1 or 2 times a week. You don't want you don't want them withholding eggs on you like the quail do if you don't give them something every day. If you're expecting eggs from your rabbits, you might want to think about that. Yeah, Dawn's. So if Sheepshire tastes lemony, it's very healthy, but you don't like sour. Yeah, so we had one where I used to live that it's an invasive species, but it was like all over, and it was called sour grass, and it was very good. Like I like the sour, and it's tasty, but you just don't want to have a lot of it because of the oxalic acid. Thank you for the for telling me what it was, Verna. Okay, not good for rabbits. It will shut down their kidneys. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, exactly, Steve. Steve is saying if your rabbits lay eggs and withhold them, I'm going to buy your rabbits. um, and Desiree said, I give my birds wood sorrel as a treat. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much oxalic acid they can have, but I wouldn't like give them a bunch of it. I don't know if it's like, a small amount like avocado or if it's a larger amount. I don't know. Cheese swirl could also be used as a curdling agent for cheese making. So after your rabbits are done laying their eggs, you can milk them. No. I mean, you can, but no. Um, that would be expensive cheese, let me tell you. Exactly. When in doubt, err on the side of caution. Yep, exactly, Berta. Yeah. Okay, Dawn says, didn't give it to the rabbits, only the quail and my parrot. They love it. Okay. Yeah, and again, I don't know what the toxic dosage is for these things. I just know that there's something in it that um in large doses would not be good. Yeah. Yeah. It's been quiet recently. It's been very quiet. The other day, Sunday, Saturday, whatever day that was, it was extremely quiet. And today was pretty quiet. And it's just been very quiet. So it's like the calm before the storm. Yeah. All right. Meat and eggs from all. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, so that's another good reminder from Verna. If a veggie causes you to get gassy, then don't give it to your rabbits. They can't pass gas. Yep. Yep. Um, yeah, I mean, I think, yeah, it's easy to forget, Dawn, and just say, oh, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Yeah. Um, yeah. Let's just leave it at that. I would love to get some comfrey going and do feed some of that. They loved it when I had it at my old place. Comfrey is really, really good for them. Um, they really, really liked beet greens. What else they? I didn't really give them that many things, but comfrey and I think it was beet greens that they liked. But I didn't give them very much of the beet greens. Dandelions, definitely. Dandelions, yeah. Yep, no kill, no cabbage, exactly. Yeah, and that's Steve was asking if that's when you give them pineapple. Yeah, Andy of Andy Rabbit was talking about that the other day about pineapple, fresh pineapple, being able to help with um gassy. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's what she was saying. Good eye, Steve. Don says I had to take a trip to a farm, 30 minutes to pick up some hay today. All I saw on the road were the grain haulers everywhere and three other vehicles. Wow, desolate, huh? There's something that you were supposed to go to and didn't show up. Like the whole neighborhood went to. Yeah. Um. Yeah. So the other thing that happened that I forgot to put in the week in review is I was able to go to one of my friends' houses, and they have lots of beehives, and so we got into several of their beehives. So um, I have to figure out exactly how I want to carry around my bee suit because I don't know of a really good way to do that. I'm kind of thinking about getting like one of those big uh tote bags and all that. No, so Verna, I missed that. She was sick and ended up doing other things. This is a different person. So no honey harvesting. I think she ended up doing it. I mean, it had to be done, right? No, this was a different person. They had already harvested honey. I did get some of their honey, which is nice. Yeah. Oh, and when we opened one of them, a piece of comb fell off. I can show you guys that. You guys want to see that? And so I brought it home. Because they don't really reattach, stuff. So, oh, it was a holiday. Wait, when? When was it a holiday? You don't know where everyone was. They're they're pulling it, pulling. Did they pull the cornfields? They don't stubble it, huh? Oh, or the grain haulers are in the cornfields getting filled up. That's probably what you meant. I'll be right back. Oh, today's Columbus Day. Tells you how much I pay attention. You know what? If I don't get it off work, I I don't know it's a holiday. So here's what honeycomb looks like. And my friend sells it like this, but she gave me this one because it's a little chunked. um, and people chew on it and spit out the wax. Some people eat the wax, but I don't think so. And Steve says, "Oops, we got the kids up for school today." So that's honeycomb, and you can warm it up and then have the honey come out. Uncap it if you want. And then this is the comb that came out of it kind of fell. And it has honey in it, so I'm not going to open it all the way, but I'll open the top. Chewing on honeycomb is great for ear aches. Okay. Does chewing on gum do the same thing? It smells so good. Mm. I don't think I can actually get it out all the way because of the way the wax paper is. Let's see if we can just show you through the bag. They had a lot of honey in there, but a lot of this is comb, so you can see right here the line. All this has honey, and then all of this up here is just comb. It's just drawn comb. There's nothing in it. So, and I guess they don't you reuse the wax, which is like they don't like grab it and reuse it, which is interesting. So, beeswax is very interesting, and they make it themselves, right? And when they have, when you have to take up a toilet and replace it, you have the circle thing that goes on there, and it's made out of beeswax. Beeswax never hardens completely. It always has some give, so it never gets brittle. So it's pretty cool. Not in your opinion? Okay. Okay. Steve says, I think chewing on honeycomb is too much work for what little you get of it. Me too. Me too. Okay. So they pull the semi into the cornfield and then the combines do it. Yeah. Okay. Got it. Don says, tomorrow I'm cleaning the front porch and I have 2 mud dauber or hornet's nests to take down. Don't think there is a live hornet in it. Hopefully not, because you don't want to run away. Yep. Beeswax makes good candles, as Verna says. I'm going to say that you probably meant to say salves, Dawn. Can you use beeswax for making salves? Yes, you can make it. You can make salves and chapstick stuff and all sorts of stuff. Yeah. Steve. Okay. Dawn says, I just had to shove my bushy parrot off my keyboard. Now he has on top of the monitor and mad at you. Okay, we know who's typing. We know who's typing. Yeah, I got that. I got that, Verna Salves. Yeah, you can use them for that. So yeah, no, that was a fun little adventure, and I stayed at their house for a very long time. But it was a lot of fun, so it was good. I'm getting more knowledge and stuff, and so good stuff. You typed salves with the L and the A swapped. That's what you typed. He is pushy. Blame it on the bird. Blame it on the bird. Beeswax makes for a great mustache wax. Do you wax your mustache? My mom, you just saw what you typed, didn't you? Yeah, Dawn. That's why I was saying it how I was saying it. Oh boy, I'm surprised it didn't kick your comment. We knew what you meant. Yeah, so my mom has I think a cousin that used to have a really big handlebar mustache, and someone dared him to shave off half of it. Just um and so he was like, no, it takes forever to grow and maintain and all that stuff, and not worth whatever the bet was. And so then I guess he was playing with a kitten, and the kitten was batting at it and chewing on it and all that stuff. And I guess when he washed out the wax, part of his mustache came with it because the kitten had and so then he took the bet and he did that for a week. He shaved it all off. Yeah. Bad bird, exactly. You swoosh your hand until he flies off and he comes back right away. Well, at least you're well loved, right? Yeah. Yeah, you can use beeswax for a lot of things. I haven't gotten into that. I don't know if I will, but if I do, we do. If I don't, I don't. Yeah. So that's that. This is a better example because this was a full one. Now when these are in the hive, they're like this, but when you package them, they're like this. So they have back to back for the comb, and then they have different shapes they make with, like, they have their honey, and then like when they have their brood, they have it in a half circle. It's pretty cool. I'm learning a lot. Yeah, so that's that. And then I got a jar of honey. So yeah. Um, that's right. Don has a TV addicted bird. He has a big screen TV of all Kakariki playlists for him. Two of them, and he is here wanting to see you. Oh, hi, birdie. I don't know. What language does this bird speak? That sounds like a train. Dawn says, one of my rabbits like electronics too. She likes the cell phone. Mine always want to know what like if I set it down in there. They're used to have a flashlight in their face. They're used to that. But if I set it down in their hutch while I'm doing something, they're always like, "What's this? Should I nibble on it?" Like, no, you shouldn't. But they just like to investigate all the extras. And Miss Ravioli has been having a time. She finally chewed the part of the stick that's in there off so that it would stop getting in the way, I think. But she has that plastic mat in there, and I keep on going in there. It's like on top of her water or on top of her food bowl. She totally can move it, so I'm not worried. But I'm like, what are you doing, you ridiculous rabbit? Yeah. But they do come up if you leave something in there. They're like, "Ooh, what's this?" They're very curious, and they're very fastidious, is that the word I want, about their space, and things have to be where they want it. You learn that pretty quick. If they don't want something someplace, they will move it, and it will be moved, and you don't have any say about it. Yeah, that is something you learn for sure with rabbits. They are very much, this is my space, this is how I want it decorated. When I give a nest box to Ravioli, I've always put it all the way to the back so I can see what's behind. I there's nothing behind them because they're up against the back of the hutch. But with Ravioli, she wants to go behind it, so she moves it. The big giant thing, she moves it so that she can go all the way around. I'm like, okay, if you want it in the middle of your hutch, that's your issue. Yeah. And Don says, my buck likes a scoop I use for food. I have it marked for 1 cup, but it's plastic frosting container. He will pick it up and throw it, roll it, and play. But it's mine, and if I give it to him, he will eat. Yes, 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 yes. What? Assiduous? AKA meticulous? I was saying fastidious. Does it not have an F on the beginning? Am I making up words? Yes, yes. Dawn says you're right. They have their spots for everything. I've had my hand pushed, and if I don't drop it, my toe will bite me next. And if they want pets, like I can put my hand in there and they will go like that and put you where, I mean, just like a dog does, just like a dog does. Pay attention to them and their language, and you'll be good. Yeah. I thought I said fastidious. I didn't? Okay. I meant to. Because I don't know the word fastidious. That's not a word I know. But yeah, they are very meticulous about where things are put and all of that. So yeah. There we go. Very attentive to and concerned about accuracy and detail. That is the word I was trying to say. Thank you, Steve. Fastidious. Yeah, Dawn says once in a while I'll get a kiss or lick. So this happens with Percy is, if I like kind of get his extra fur from like around his behind, he'll reach back and he'll go like this with his mouth on me. So he's grooming me back. And then not this year, but last year, and well, not last year, just last time shedding happened, Ravioli, and the times before that, just not this time, she would help me. So like if I started like getting little chunks from her, she would be like, okay, I'll take it front, you take the back. Okay, I got this side, you got that side. And it was pretty funny. So yeah. Mm-hmm. Steve says, you using those $2 words and making me look them up because I have a 50-cent vocabulary. I'm sorry, Steve. You don't have to look them up. Yeah, sorry. Oh. Dawn says, do you remove everything when they have kits? No, I leave everything in and add a nest box. And I used to move around like to the ones that had little kits. I used to move around that like a brick at the front. I just leave it in there now. They have a brick in there, and if they want to, it's some furniture, sure. But that I put that right up to make us like a stair. So if they get out, they can go back in, and you may or may not have to show them how to get back in. But yeah, when they're about 10 days old is when their eyes start to open. And at that point, they're like, oh, the world is bigger than this box I've been living in. Let me see outside. Yeah. Yep. And so then they go outside. But yeah, they can, as soon as they're ready to go out of the box, they're going to find the food. They're going to eat just like mom. They're going to drink just like mom. But sometimes they can't get back in the box. And so for me, I'll take them as soon as I see one out of the box. I take it and I put it like back feet on the wire, and then front feet on the top of the brick step, and I'll leave them there. I'm like, okay, can you figure out how to get in? And usually that's me testing, like, can they figure it out? And also, have they done it before? Because I don't, I'm working all day, so I'm not out there watching them the whole entire time. So they may have already gone in and out the box 20 times by that point. But if they go right in, that's fine. If they don't, I'll kind of help them up so they can know how to get in. And so far it's been good. I think I've only lost one. Yeah, I've only lost one to the elements after, at that age. Younger than that, they can hold on to the faucet when mom goes out of the box and can drop off then. I've not had that happen, but I know it can. So, yeah. But yeah, I don't remove anything. The kits are fine with everything, because by the time they get out of the nest box, they're old enough, they're big enough to deal with whatever's there. So, like, hopefully they're not falling in the water. That could happen, but it hasn't been an issue for me yet. Yeah. Don says that will be rough because it'll be snow when I get kits, cold too. You will be absolutely amazed at how warm these babies are going to be, Dawn. Um, so mama does not sit on them like a bird, like a chicken or a quail. She does not sit on them. She doesn't provide them any body heat. What she does provide them is, you have your nest box, and you have the hay or straw, and then you have mama's fluff. So all the fur that she pulls, she puts in there. And if it's going to be extra cold night, she'll pull more. She'll pull more even if they're a little bit older. She'll make sure that they're nice and warm. And the temperature regulation that happens is the kits doing. So they will burrow down if they're cold. They will come up to the surface if they're warm. They split into two groups if they're too warm. I always put them back together because I'm always afraid that, oh, you did this during the day and then during the night you're going to get cold. But they actually move around quite a bit, and they're the ones that are temperature regulating. Except for, the fur, the straw, the box itself. But they're the ones that do that. And then mom, once she's done feeding, sometimes she jumps out, sometimes she covers them up. Most of the time she just jumps out. Sometimes if I go in there and I'm, counting them or watching, seeing if their eyes are open or something, and I put them back and I cover them back over, mom will hop in and sniff around and then pat a few times. But in general, she's not going in there and covering up those babies. That's all up to the babies, which is pretty amazing. Yeah. And makes sense from the standpoint of a prey animal, that mom would not have to have much input. Yeah. Verna says you can just about guarantee at least one kit will decide the food bowl is their throne. Yeah. Yeah. This is true. I need to extend the roof stuff. I need to do a lot before I can put in my bass feeders. But yeah, they will definitely do that. Dawn says I'm figuring out how to process in the house, hanging in the shower. Still working on it because 8 weeks will be deep winter and I won't be outside. Can you do it in the garage? You're going to need something that you're going to want to pull pretty hard on. Dawn's bathroom is going to be a crime scene. Yeah, exactly. You can see the ultraviolet light now. Ooh, yeah, especially if they're doing sit-ups, because sometimes they do sit-ups after they're missing something. Be forewarned. Hopefully that wasn't too graphic for YouTube. Yeah, I would say it has to be something you can yank on for sure. But if you can attach a choke chain to something that you can yank on at like belly button level, and have some way to hang them up afterwards, then I mean, try it. You might Me thinking of Psycho, but the movie. Yeah. You do quail in the kitchen and only a drop here or there. Quail don't do sit-ups, and you can hold them in one hand. When I process, what I do cervical dislocation, and then as soon as you can, you get the feet up into the thing that holds the feet. Sometimes they kick out. And I hold an ear and like an ear like this, and then this grabs the scruff. I go like that. The choke chain's still around the neck. I use I have some Milwaukee scissors, and I cut on the body side of the choke chain, and that happens. And at that point, they can still be moving a little bit, and then you might think they stop moving, and then they can start again. So there is some chance for movement, and if you don't have that, I hold on to the scruff now until they're done. If you don't hold on to them, you can have a very messy bathroom. So there you go. Dawn has J feeders. They can still find it. They can and will still find it. The babies like to sit in the feeder. Yeah, exactly, like Vern just said. You don't know how hard you pull the skin. You're going to be pulling harder to do the cervical dislocation than the skin. The skin, I wonder if there's like like you can measure wattages for like by plugging a meter into the wall socket and then plugging your unit into there. I wonder if there's like a pressure, like a pounds per whatever that you can pull down. Because like I think I could probably recreate that, and it's going to be different for all of them, and the males are going to be harder than the females, just because the connective tissue is tougher. Um, Depending on when you do it, though. So if you're doing it 8 weeks, you're probably not going to have a problem at all. If you're going to do it at 12 weeks, that's what I do. Then they start to have. It's not even tough, but it's more meat. Okay. Steve says, Dawn, you can call your bathroom the abator? Abattoir? All right. And Steve's asking to Dawn, have you ever taken a shirt off with someone that was hard to pull them over their head? Rabbits are harder to pull. Steve, I like how your bar is so low. The actual action doesn't have anything related to it. So here's a person with a shirt, and have you ever attacked someone with a person with a shirt? Well, rabbits are harder. I'm just picturing you trying to run around after a rabbit saying, "Give me it." Anyway, sorry. Yeah, I would say if you're doing if you have a grip bar, I don't know how many pounds you can pull on that, but that would be the best bet if you're looking for something that exists. If you're looking to install something, then that's an interesting choice. Yeah, I would choose garage with a tarp or something. Yeah. Someone says, I think of a little kid pulling a shirt off a big kid head is hard sometimes. Okay. All right. A force gauge. Yes. Do you feel the force? The force is with you. Sorry. You would never choose to process in January, February. Hey, you know what? Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. Yeah, if you can find, if there's a garage space or a covered space outside, that might be a better choice. But you want a strong, solid something to pull from. Yeah, and winter, I don't know how hot does it get where you are, Dawn, in the summer? Because breeding through winter is really good for like where I am. Because we have winter, but we don't have like a really, really cold winter. Like I think their record's like 14, so it's not, I mean, it's below freezing, but it's not too bad. Yeah. Force gauge. Um yeah, so I think a force gauge you could measure, but could you really measure like because if you're holding the skin and going down, there's nothing to be in between, right? I don't know. I don't know. I'm going on the YouTube side of things so I can look at what that link is though. All right. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, but it wouldn't work with like holding and pulling. It's like a lat pull down if you do weights. It's like a lat pull down. Um think Summer and Macomb. Um Mr. Steve, I've never spent a summer in Macomb with good reason. I went to Utah and then I came to Oregon or to California. That was one of the deals I made is when I went out there with the person I went out there with, is that I will not spend summer in the Midwest ever again. Yeah. Yep. Um, okay. Let me see. Don says, can't get my garage messed up. It seems as cold as outside. Oh, J hook in your stud. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, you used it in your tree trunk when you processed. Yeah, exactly. Triple digits all the time? Yeah, see, so you want to breed during the winter if you have a hot summer, was the point I was making. Winter below zero, a couple weeks into -9 or so. Yeah, yeah. Desiree want to know what brand of pellets and hay do you use? I use Payback for pellets, and uh, it's a 18%. 18? I think it's 18% protein. Protein is important for meat rabbits, and it comes in a variety of ways. Alfalfa is very high in there. Mine's not supposed to have corn, but I'll tell you what, I've seen full pieces of corn in it, so I don't believe them. I honestly don't know, but the other options are like 14 point something percent in the region. So your region is going to have whatever your region has. Mine is I think it's done in the Eugene area, but it's in Oregon. Um, and then hay for rabbits, Timothy is going to be your best bet. Orchard grass also works. Any of the hay is going to probably be fine. Just if you are going to use the pellets and stuff, and the hay is going to drop through too. Um, for gardening, make sure it's not sprayed, because if it's sprayed, that can stay in the system for several years and can affect what you can grow and what you can't grow. So that's just a cautionary tale. Yeah, yeah. Steve says, let's just what? Oh, let's just see when Dawn complains about the heat. I roll my let's just say when Dawn complains about the heat, I roll my eyes. She knows nothing. That's because you're in Mississippi. That's because you're in Mississippi. Um, Dawn says Macomb is so much further north. It has to be cool compared to here. So Dawn, he's referencing Macomb because he used to live there and I used to live there, but not at the same time, I don't think, right? Um, that would be interesting. I don't think at the same time. I was there. When was I there? Like 2006 or 7 and 8, somewhere part of 8. Yeah, somewhere in there. Wouldn't that be funny if we like saw each other and didn't know each other yet? That's he's giving me a reference point that I know. That's why he was saying that, not for any other reason. I don't think. I wonder if that sandwich place is still there, because it's a wonderful sandwich place. There's a sandwich place, and I don't remember the name, but they have wonderful sandwiches. Find it in Macomb, Illinois. Verna says I used to order mine from Chewy. Yeah, and the one I have, it's not a J hook, but it's a I hook that has a loop on it, and then I just put a carabiner on that and hook that to the choke chain. So that's very similar. Yep. But you want to make sure that it won't bend when you pull. Dawn says breeding in winter is good, but processing would suck. I'm using Royal King 18%, Advantage Country Road pellets. I think I am transitioning to the 50%. I think it is. Okay. Pigback pellets is 18% protein. Timothy and Orchard. That's what I'm doing. So you're probably not going to find Payback where you are, just because it's in Oregon, and it doesn't have to be Payback. I'm just saying the level of protein, and then know what's in it. Yeah, Timothy is a grass that's grown in cooler areas. I need to know if I have it here, because I think I have some of it here. And that's really high protein, and it's really good for rabbits specifically. Like if you go into a pet store and say, I want to buy hay for my rabbit, they will sell you a bale this big for ridiculous amount. Don't get that unless you don't have space to have a whole bale. Because it'll be just as much for a whole bale. But yeah, Timothy and then orchard grass is the runner up. And I mean, alfalfa is always good to have as well. Yeah. Yeah, so that's a good point. So Verna's mentioning how long the rabbit process actually takes. So from breeding to birth is 30, 31 days, maybe 32. So just say a month. And then I process at 12 weeks. So if you have 12 weeks, that's 3 months. So 4 months from breeding is when you're processing. If you're only doing 8 weeks, then that's, you just subtract that off. It's still quite a few months. So like if let's say you bred them today, right? So mid-October. So mid-November is when you have kits. Mid-December is month 1, mid-January month 2, mid-February is month 3. So in February I'll be, if I actually breed them, hopefully soon, guys. I should be breeding, or I should be harvesting rabbits in February. And if you don't want February, obviously you don't know the situation right now, but then go out a little bit. Like you said, you're going to wait till the end of the month. They'll put you at beginning of March or end of February. So you have to think about that, and then also when you rebreed, what that looks like on the calendar. And it's a good idea to take out a calendar and actually mark things off, because I'm visual. I don't know if you're visual. Yeah. Don says, I did many shows in MS. Rabbit shows? What's MS? Is that a state? Oh, Steve left in 1973. That was 10 years before I was born. Sorry, Steve. It's probably changed since you were there, huh? Yeah. Yeah, so don't think about the timing, for sure. Is MS Mississippi? Because Emma is Missouri, right? Okay, Dawn says I wanted to move to, I'm going to say Mississippi. Really bad. I love doing shows at casinos, but the bugs yuck. Winter was great. All right. What kind of shows? All right. Don says I got a bale today for $6, but his vet uses it for guinea pigs. He has goats and horses and rabbits. It was a mix of grasses. And I just wanted to use it as twice a week treats. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I mean, you can basically free feed hay. From what I know, from what's been told to me, then they're not going to like fatten up off of hay, but they'll eat it. I have historically not done a whole lot of hay. Once I get this haying stuff figured out, I will increase that because I have access to it, but I need to get it figured out. And I actually want to know what's in the pasture. Is it a high protein grass? What else is in it? Are there different nutrients for different kinds of grasses? I'm sure there is. But I just don't know any of that right now. But once I have access to it as a thing, once it can actually be hayed this year, it's not happening this year. Then that'll be good. Yeah. Okay, Verna put the J-hook link. Thank you. And Steve says, I do a little visit every month of May. Okay. Okay, you're going to have to tell me if this... I'm going to look up the sandwiches place. Sandwich shop in Macomb, Illinois. Because those guys and the soil place was the best. Is it just International Sandwich Shop? That might be. Where is it? Sorry, I am on a tangent. That doesn't look right. Is this right? Well, where is it? See, the thing is, I don't remember what the roads are, but I know where it was in relation to where I worked. So I don't know if it's in the same spot, though. That's the thing. Okay, how do we change this? Open in maps. Yeah, they have something like in the lettuce that is just like ridiculous. Why are we showing the whole United States? We don't have to show the whole United States, guys. Just, oh, it's because I know why, because I'm in Oregon. Let's zoom in here. Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, that's not it. Is that it? Anyway, so there's a sandwich shop and it's good, and I should tell you more about it later because I don't need to waste time right now doing it. No, not bugs and lettuce. Yeah, it was just some flavor, I don't know what it was. It was so addicting, and I think it was something that they mixed into the lettuce, and it was so good. Like, it made you want more. And like, who wants more lettuce in a sandwich? You know? Yeah. So, um, Dawn says, let's say November 1st, breed again, go 30 days kits, then 2 months would be uh no, that would be it would be February. So if you're doing November 1st, December 1st is born, January 1st, and February 1st would be processing if you did 2 months. But 2 months, I would say 2 months is if you want smaller meat. I think most people go 10 weeks to 12 weeks. But totally up to you. Yeah. You did shows. Oh, you have all kinds of rabbit charts. So you showed rabbits? I didn't know that. Mississippi, okay. Yeah, March start roaring up. Exactly, exactly. Yeah, and you can breed, like Verna says, you can breed every month during the cold months as long as you have enough cages. So long as you have enough cages or tractors or whatever, and you do your timing right. Like I historically have bred have bred the does when their babies are 3 weeks old, and then wean at 5 weeks. And I'll probably shoot that out to maybe rebreeding them at 4 weeks old, but rebreeding them when their babies are 4 weeks old, um, just to give them a break because I don't, unless I have a lot of buyers for meat, I have enough meat. Um, so just to kind of give them a little bit more, whatever. Um, so yeah, yeah. Okay, let's see. And Brenda says you can let them age out to 3 months of age, more meat. Yeah, exactly. And you can go past that too. About week 14 is when they start to display some of the adult behavior. But even then, they may not actually be physically maturing until later. So, um, but then as they age, their hide is going to get thicker, and their connective tissue is going to get thicker and harder. So depending on what you want, you it's when you process. Yeah. Um, you can always wait a few weeks to harvest, like I did. Yeah, yeah. The females actually weren't too bad to harvest, and the males had really, really tight connective tissue around the lower part of the leg, and then the rest of it was fine. But it really took a long time to get it off the leg. Um, yeah, that don't do that. That was not a good thing. Um, and Dawn's asking how much harder would it be to process if I go to March, and that would be 12 weeks. 12 weeks is fine. Yeah. If you want to do earlier, you can do earlier, and if you want to wait till 12 weeks, wait till 12 weeks. I do 12 weeks. It's not um I figure you're raising these animals for meat anyway, you might as well get meat. And at that point it's not, tough meat or anything, and they haven't reached that maturity yet. So to me that's what I do. I think most people do between 10 and 12 weeks. Um yeah, up to you. Yeah, and Verna says males get harder to skin quicker than the does do. Exactly. Exactly. Um, Verna had one pretty late too. Dawn says, I ate a quail salad tonight instead of chicken salad, and the flavor of the quail is addicting. I've made two of them, and quail is good in salads. Yes, quail is good in everything. So it's a good statement. Um, Quail in lettuce is really different. What? Oh, you mean in a salad? Like as okay. Okay. Thought you were just wrapping a quail in lettuce. Um Steve says my quail salad does not have any lettuce or vegetables in it, just quail. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. Okay. I know what I'm gonna look up. Um Sorry. There we go. And where was the sandwich shop? It was right around the corner. I bet that's it. I just remembered the name of something. Sandwich shop. So Collins and 136. Okay. Ooh, it doesn't have it. I thought it was right there. Maybe it's not there anymore. Or maybe no, it might not be there anymore. Never mind. You might not get to try it. Maybe it's Jackson Street Market. Maybe not. Anyway, continue. One day you'll have enough quail to eat. One wasn't enough, huh? Um, Quail and Miracle Whip. Oh my! I said miracle. That's not how you say miracle. Miracle Whip. I don't know, Verna. You and your Miracle Whip. I'm not a fan of Miracle Whip. um, and she says, now I'm thinking chicken salad with quail, not a real salad. It's like Waldorf salad, right? Yeah. It has been 20 years, but this is a place that lives 20 years, right? It should live 20 years. It's by Shady Lane because I used to work for Key Agriculture. I did 2 seasons of work there off of Shady Lane. It is some sandwich shop near there, like walkable distance. So if you know Macomb, you can look it up. But they had really good sandwiches. They're like this big too. Um, okay, Dawn says I have shelves of quail in the freezer, falling over, and whole cage of roosters 3 weeks old now go in. I'd like rabbit filling up the other shelves. Yep, there you go. Yeah, Verta says Desiree, you need at least 2 quail per person. Yeah. Um, yep. Yeah. So my late lunch that I had reheating, I at least had the forethought for that I ate right before the live. I had made some um rabbit enchiladas. And so I put that in the oven to heat up while I was on the phone. Yeah. But yeah, you can do quail everything. You can do quail everything. Um both quail and rabbit you can substitute for anything you do chicken. Yeah. Desiree says snuggling and quail chick now. Are you cuddling up to dinner or are you cuddling a breeder? Dawn says have to run. Well, get off anyway. Lights go out on the quail in 2 minutes. Have a great night. I'll see if I can finish tomorrow this stream. Well, thank you for coming, and you have good questions for rabbits, and good luck. Good luck. And Anime is excited for eggs to hatch. Meal is dinner. Your cuddle dinner, huh? Oh, I don't know which one you have. Male is dinner, female is breeder. So you have both of them there? Yeah. Um, yeah. Good luck on the hatch. That should go really, really well. And you've done a good job so far. And I think your hatching is improving, right? So you should be doing good. Dawn did stay late tonight. Oh my gosh, it's 8 o'clock. I didn't realize how late it was. Oh, boy. It's a white, so you don't know? Okay. How old is it, Desiree? Yeah, Dawn's usually off by 7. Well, we were answering questions like directly for her, so it's a good thing to do that. That's not a good thing if anybody's sneaking, anybody's creeping, got questions, we're gonna answer them. Ooh, they should hatch next Monday. Awesome. It's 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are? Steve. That's in the same genre as The More You Know. Bling. Yeah. Oh, you don't know how old they are? Yeah, actually, I think the Do You Know Where Your Children Are? I think that was probably older than The More You Know, isn't it? I think it is. Yeah. So, all right. Well, I'm waiting on Desiree's answer, and then I think I have some pears to juice, and hopefully most of them are not partially bad or all bad. Verna's back. Verna's back. Verna, which came first? It's 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are? Or The More You Know? Bling. Which came first? We're just playing with words here. I think Desiree must be looking up when her quail were hatched. Um, this week's videos, The More You Know is older. Is it really? I thought the 10 p.m. one was. I remember The More You Know, and I remember hearing about it's 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are? Yeah, but The More You Know was also that, wasn't it? Or was it earlier? I guess it was earlier. Okay. I'll trust you guys. Um yeah, so this week's videos are all about camera traps or wildlife cameras or automatic cameras or uh, trail cameras, whatever you want to call them. Um, tomorrow's video is a very brief overview of what they are and why. Why would you want them? And then Thursday's video is how to set up a camera. So you have time if you want to order a camera to set up. Go ahead and order one online or find one at a game store or something like that. Almost 3 weeks. Okay, so you have some time before you know. But I just talked and read. Okay. Okay. PSA. More You Know ran for 35 years starting in 1989. Okay, that makes sense because that was like my whole childhood. Got it. That's exactly what you said. That's exactly what you said, Verna. Thank you. Yeah, so if you guys are planning on learning about trail cameras, camera traps, if you have a camera that you have in your mind or you've been having your eye on it or something, if you get one, you can look up the video later too. It doesn't look like you have to have it on Thursday. But I go through each of the settings on the camera, and so that's going to be very helpful for those people who want to do it. For those people that don't, you can watch it and there's some fun stuff in there, and maybe you're interested, maybe you're not. But it really is how to program your camera and all of that. So that is Thursday's video. So, and then my anticipation is that on Monday we might talk about camera trapping, wildlife cameras, trail cameras, and talk about that. So that's my intention. And then the week after that, I'll follow up with some homesteady stuff. And then the week after that, I'll probably be doing at least one, maybe two more of the camera stuff, just so I have a mini series there. And I do have an intro to trail cameras is the name of the actually I think I put all three of those names, but is the name of the playlist. So it exists. It just not you guys can't see it yet because it's not tomorrow yet. Yeah. So Steve says I'm older than both of those television sayings. Oh, because Desiree asked how old you were. Oh, and Verna says I had kids before both those telly sayings. And Steve says I'm almost as old as Verna. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. And then Verna says, nope, a couple years older than she is. He's old. Come on. But good old, right? Good, an oldie but goodie. There you go. There you go. All right, guys. So I think I need to go and juice some pears, and that should go well. Yeah, he is a grandpa. He is a grandpa. How many grandkids did you bring with you? He had enough grandkids that they all had walkie-talkies. And they're both old farts. All right, Verna. My parents used to have a pair of mugs, and it said old fart, and the other one said old fart's wife. Pretty funny. Pretty funny. Okay, so here you go, Desiree. Steve has 16 grandchildren, 2 of which are older than you, Desiree. You probably met some of his grandkids at QuailCon. Yeah. She hasn't responded. She must be shocked. All right, guys, I'm gonna hang it up. Good conversation today. And then if people are watching afterwards, um, if there are other weather YouTubers or other uh, locations you go to look at weather forecasts, go ahead and um, put that in the comments, and that will help people in maybe say it's this region or that region, or the US or Australia or whatever. So yeah, yeah. Desiree says, I hope there's a QuailCon 2026. We'll see. We'll see. He's doing lots of family stuff and lots of farm stuff. So we'll see what happens. And Brenna said he had at least 6 at QuailCon, and then Sue says, yes, she met 4 of them, or should say she was at our campsite. Okay, so you've met some of his grandkids. You just didn't know. Just didn't know. All right. All right, guys. We will talk next Monday. And a reminder, the Cook With Me Live is this Saturday at noon 30. Um, there you go, Desiree. Yep, you did meet him. Anybody with a walkie-talkie any kid with a walkie-talkie was one of Steve's grandkids. Unless it was who else had a walkie-talkie? PJ's grandkid, and Lane, I think, was in with the walkie-talkie bunch for a little bit, right? Yeah. All right, guys. I've said good night 3 times. Good night. All right. We'll talk later.